3:30 after night. It is Friday, the 11th, 2016. And in my address, I have been in a very journey of hell around this land. The day just passed. Through this soul, I just dealt with it naturally, as every day. And certainly lots of things to say. Watching a movie, well, this, not sure to be a movie, maybe a TV show, where the famous Argentinian actress were working. For the reasons of the problems we have, I'm not going to say her name, but she was a very decent person, permanently fighter, so that making the best ever at the hand. And she was a very brave woman, like so much other around here. The reality of this movie delivered into how much times one person that has a very condition at the pain and at the reality of the sufferer, the believers, whenever there is a person that doesn't catch the best ever, so they get together for a normal natural reason of certain neural disease, which is really as delicately for us how possibly avoiding to make disasters or bring tendencies or conditions which are not really needed. So this rolling for expressed the very moment where she starts to relating in a very birthday party of her that her bigger daughter and son makes a celebration inviting friends, and suddenly gives to her an album with the very memories, written like a very memorial and a tribute as to well time for the great piece was seen, but were not the meaning for a memorial, but suddenly clasp a very element to keeping, an element for love, to remaining and putting as how conscience diary, as how conscience reality for day after another, and how where since grew, since birthed, since walked around life until sons daughter were in life. And suddenly in a moment she stays where this portrait of the family reunion in the place where she went to visit, to this person like in a very autism, trans-discretional, that represents about a person with not wanting nobody to touch, nobody to hold, nobody to be near it. And violence is a very elemental around this class of the Muslim. And suddenly this photo were edited about the daughter and son with a very smile of him because of they wanted to keep her a photo of him smiling. So suddenly in a moment when she relates and makes the very instant of pain and throws the hell out the complete of the body, there are images which happens while he in this incarnation for the care goes through putting for what she went around and he had the day before. The letters of happy birthday in Spanish stuck to the wall by himself in a very condition and alone with a chair. One smooth light, a simple empty room except for some furniture, and in that condition he seated in front of the happy birthday to the wall in big caps. Suddenly, that is a very message, which is a very painful reality for a lot of people. And something happened to me. Melech Galilás, the Buenos Aires is the same Melech Shantanero, where Israel. There is a similar reality that I saw myself like pretending to be a happy birthday, and the loneliness so killing me. It is the immediate reality this land generates. Something I know is the purpose of a lad, which today I just went through, wishing I wouldn't be found here no more, but with my own and the people I love. But the clear fact for this whole situations and circumstances. For it's real that I just walked through Lugones Speedway, right behind of the processing of waters of ISA Corporation, which is a frat of Kirchners like all the time. Sick degenerates, criminals. And I'm sorry, the violence at the point which truth is. And for a moment, I have been through this so long. And so long, expecting a miracle another night to bring me angels like he'd done so long ago. While I'm through running in a weakness. About and a need for reposition of strength. I haven't reached for the help, but Adonai Malach came to me in a very outrageous destruction for the whole stand happened, which is just exactly which happens today. So this outrageous clear reality which today is dealing at is the class of things that I'm building for more. And through this I wanted these miracles and weather were the weird of the whole of the circus, which were not for me. And suddenly one pretender of pastor and one pretender of authority of God, and I saw the trees whenever I wandered to Lord, and the trees made them in the wind and pleasure and for me were a yes. And be strong, hold on, the situation and the painful word and cat wet. And so much other. All through this I had a very special experience, which today just came back. And there were the rumors and the celebration. We drove that where we needed this to go. He has no way in, no way out. Gotta come again for the highway reach it. About to walking through and crossing a river and losing everything at God at the hand. For the coming to the angels to give to him. And we're going to kill them, and we're going to rob everything it got, and we're going to show that we were right all the time. Brains, Cornelos, Cabreras, Anacondias, Crudos, and Sodoma y Gomorra. Side Federal, Gendarmería, Prefectura, MPSA, Aeroport Ferry. Of course, Perras Milicas telling, let it come that we're gonna catch it. We'll have to pass through Palomar because of always lit it at through here, because of knew that we had something like he wanted. So in the middle of this all, I just walked through in a very dangerous moment and illegal way back of the processing waters of this Nunez plant of urban nets. So what it is the Black Sun, what is provision for? So me, walking for about 1,000 meters, approximately, about Lugones, Speedway, Buenos Aires, right at the parallel to Aeroparque Jorge Newbery Airport, Buenos Aires, cabotage, an international for the border countries. And I just came around dealing with certain other situations. So in the middle of that all, I will ever come with those supposed realities that I will be chunky stuff, that I will premeditate into running to brain, that I will be fooling around and cheating everybody and pretending. But today they just came and turned, expecting that to be again. I used to being around this town, and for one complete day until night, in this town, having a very instant for, and having a very instant about little holes through the clouds, like making a very way to follow. Like if trains of clouds will ever cry about giving me hope, so I believe. I have been about situations that are not really elements to consider, like mind, self-mind, self-creatory. And the reality is that this Perro de Guarda has all documented still. I'm going to show you what they dare to send to Mark Luther, which is exactly the name where this is in Bonpland, which is making a very Nazi revival and suffering a lot of people in Germany. Deutsche. Which would be Deutschen Tanzschuh. Sprungrennen. So suddenly, at the reality of this, I remember that I have been for about 3.5 years to 4 years, for about 1 to 2 to 3 days off of my bed sleeping, in a permanent torture, expecting one malach to come to me with money to supposedly I will give to Guillermo de Supreme to the building churches all over the world for the supposed revival, that I will be making the direction for what as buildings will ever be and killing myself after working. And the reality of this, that I will receive a car and I will never have, in case for trying to figure out trespassing myself to go through. So I wouldn't be no recognized no much, supposedly. And I will ever receive a Ford Fiesta, first generation produced in Buenos Aires, diesel, blue, 5 doors. To driving, I used to having then my D1, which I lost while stolen for the disc glass of struggles and threatened by Gendarmería Nacional and Policía Federal Argentina to murder people if I wasn't over Camino del Buen Aire, Don Torcuato, and stolen. And one of the stolen things were my license, which has my D&I number, which is a professional that delivers at the capacity to driving for 9 passengers or 3,500 kilos, which is a little bit joke, but works like a professional about all possible ways. I used to having the full professional until this changed for the convenience of the sickness of this land. But the reality is I will ever just having the farthest ever capacities about to even moving myself in a very level over this license as the possibility of a job or others, even the illness, and whatever the risk. So suddenly, all through this, Jose Leon Suarez pretended to come to Jose Leon Suarez from there into a police station after the robbery, because of they didn't submit nothing at the nest of hell that they has right there, at the entrance of that sick place, while serving alimony, giving the star because of I went war before the souls. Hipócritas, hijo de infierno. So suddenly in the point for truth, I have been around this close of a circle skimming rim, and weather seems to be like if there would be other night, but we're not other night. And I were whiling through Comodoro B. Boulevard, Buenos Aires, Retiro place, where with the burden of evil brothers are found, making still commerces and disasters and Sodoma market, and all through this soul, the clear fact of the problem were still what were through this problem itself, there is a very supposed base where Sodoma, Narco, Comodoro Pipa, Ejército Argentino, Armada Argentina, has place for commercializing open port and deliver people's traffics, kids traffics, narco traffics, and organs with murder one traffics, and what it is slavery traffics, and what it is weapon traffics, and what it is narco DRMC, murder genocide traffic, and what it is mulas, and what it is the whole of the espionage and DRM. And there were perro degenerado wailing through with extortions, and I have been walking there, and this one were playing the strategy, I hide myself and I show you, I'm gonna hunt you. So suddenly I were around that, and in a moment were making the job of extortions and perras enfermas from inside, like naturally are. Making the marica mind control, forgive me the word. That they live so. So suddenly in the middle of the extortion and disasters, while perros prostitutos, criminales de cuarta, frame, brujas de cuarta, making them with a pardon of you. I just were through this and were completely cloudy. And completely cloudy were completely close. Low, but in a very reference form, in the night. And in the night, nobody in the place except that son of a snake and others inside, giving the sign that we're needing for some juerga de marica. So suddenly I just went through in the middle of the boulevard, and while I'm through the struggle and extortion, I just see the situation and something puts me at the reality. I saw the skies and this is not lie. And I'm going to show you, no forgery. Opening from back to me until the right front like a sheet in two pieces, like an angle. And something came up on me and I just woke up and just kept in a running, hurrying up. So suddenly, while I'm through, those days just kept on. And one of those days were also other plasma extortions, where always were the same perra violenta degenerada perfectas. Perrazos de cuarta. Where at the truth of this pretends to play the smooth moral shit in the world, and are the smooth shit of Sodoma manipulation, because of says got to be happen. They said, have to be happen what we command, they said. And I'm not lying about this neither. So suddenly, turns to saying now, if I would ever know how to speak English, because of to saying what command, had happened what they said, and to saying that will command each of them. Degeneradazos. So suddenly, in the point of truth, as risk of the situation for what this is, and I'm sorry my violence is still, where this class of situations permanently, and like those experiences much other, always strove like a candle through the city and suburban, in the wind right on the back of me, pulling me, pushing me to at a walk. And I have been through this class of experiences, which were exactly the darkly ingepochasimas fasem, dealing with the death. I crossed by Reconquista River at Tontorquato, Haight, one Saturday at the winter season, 1 a.m. with a very handbag that I used to having with a Bible, then with Cadillacs over my dreams and prayers, to wishing to reach out of cars, at least one to making something, with dreams and a folder where I used to having personal things that I've lost. And my documents, the prime one that I also published, destroyed the photo for the arsenic in the water. And I just crossed it at swimming and sinking for the cold and for the clothes weight. And my handbag over my shoulders at my back. To the other side, because of the wind were pulling. And I found myself in a very lake where I will die of hypothermia, with a contamination of cryptosporidium, poridium, DRE, DRM, leptospirosis, victospirosis, BRC, POD, PXL, PMR, arsenic, chrome, mercury. And I just remember that I walked through, and the only thing after that, while I just came out of there, were that I had a very thirsty, which were exactly those parasites, the rest were like nothing. And I exterminated those parasites, like naturally. I will ever have more than immunogen, and cannot be taken off. Nothing me, and nothing like I am. So profanos de mierda se van a pudrir muertos y creídos de vida. I'm sorry this. Bentley borrar fejal mas padle mis fasemaplin. And bleki er So suddenly I had to keep on swimming, for supposedly I would be dirty. And I had to purify for a punished way, and were the only way supposedly for the Lord. But something happened there because of Adonai just taking a very memory for the reality of the blekim borravechafismasim, for the destructions I had been through. And with that made an extra payment for the realities I have been through. So this casta de mierda, evangelistas de Lucifer, which are not any other, needed I to be clean while they were roughing me and saying, people need that. Don't you see, he doesn't care about the Lord, and nothing to be of the Lord. He abandons the glory and the sun gets that lessy and that like his bad. Lamiets. And so in the middle of this all, that will be my only commandment by Lord, the only thing I will ever do. And I had to hang on and hold that as the pain and destruction and even die for. prostitutas, reventadas, criminales, degeneradas, Sodom y Gomorra. Guillermo Horacio Prena in the Hall of Death. Alibaba and the 144 Million. Casta de perras, brujas, de diablos y de degenerados criminales peligrosos, ferales. So in the middle of this, I have been through these situations, and these situations delivered me. And I found that I had to keep in the swim. And I had to keep in the swim until die, because of we're the only thing that were in the view. So I started to scream in the moment, somebody help me, please take me out of here, because if I got in a confusion for a moment. And for a moment I just kept on walking, because of we're the only thing that I saw in a very fierce wind, you know. And I were like Bergamasechich was in a plane as well. And the whole of the grammar in a very height, all like a very flat thing to the ground. But suddenly I'm found in the middle of this situation before just go through and saying, okay, I forward. And I wonder, Adonai, do I have to? Is this what you really want? And but the problem were 2.5 meters forward than me, with the whole of the grammar like a flat thing, and I like a trembling almost to flying. One simple terrain in front, and I saw it, and I couldn't believe it, because of where the only with a little blech of a Sechish Vasim, and we're there. And 2.5 meters with a it's nothing. And suddenly wondering, do you really need I to come through? And I see and wondering again, should I forward and take in another direction? And supposedly God, wind, will ever get angry. Like saying, go, go, go! Amalek. Which is Aplaka Sherim Pagova. Dealing with the death. And in the middle of that, experiences like that, I had 3.5 years to the 4th, expecting to have a miracle, for I just could ever doing something in the land of the hell, which is not for victims or innocents. And I'm going to show to you this today, that this Perra de Puerta celebrate that time that were my only unique choice, that they will show that I will be in and they will forward and hunting and raping and murdering and taking everything of me and even my body, and whatever other night are killing me. Well, no word. We throw that. So in the middle of the reality is the picture of my days in this tierra de mierda, porque es lo que es, tierra de mierda. Y mierda parida, with a burden of victims. And it's exactly the picture that I got. And I saw that image, and I saw myself in a very state of destruction with nothing to say, with no arms to take me, to hold me, with a sense of the reality of which my name says, at the near of my immediate humanity, and my humanity in front of a wall, in a smooth light, empty room, in a very humid tea, in a very nothing but a very old wall, a simple chair, and speechless, and just watching after destruction put in happy birthday. Tierra de mierda, y se pudren por los siglos en el infierno. Suddenly to say this is not my only, and not just me. You know, I have been making denouncers a lot. I have been saying a lot about the problems here happens and working with the need of millions. And I'm happy that I done that. Not for I to be a star or fulfill myself at all to feeling satisfied like a hero. I am happy because I've found the reality of why I'm here besides. And the reality of who I am. And so I have been working at the normal I work. And I am doing what I got to do. And what I want to do. That is great. But not at this way. Which is not nice and nothing great. So what the clear for this? Well, this perrada degenerada keeps on damaging me and destroying my life. And perra de guarda telling that I robbed them the videos and my life. That they were being with me. While through this, while kept on robbing my photos and delivering that I stolen them and making what I can show you. If you want, not doing over to me, like I said, this perra sucia, enferma, degenerada de porquería, podrida mierda argentina, Policía Federal Argentina, Fuerzas Armadas Argentinas, Ejército Argentino, Fuerzas Armadas EDMSB UNASUR, Ejércitos UNASUR, Armada Argentina, Kirchners, and United Evangelics with pardon of victims, like you see here. Give me just an instant, please. And I'm gonna show you this. I'm sorry my lights are tilting disgustingly for I have infrastructure of limitation, but Sodom and Gomorrah robbing me with them horse evangelics of hell, like this to everybody. So I made in this publishment that I tried to pick up here. Whenever this happens, it's because of Policía Federal Argentina makes a time up over, I supposedly will rob them. And this is never upping, and this is never filling, and never PMC running. So it takes the commands PMC of my account for this to be time up while re-uploading and making the generation. And he's telling to me, go for the friends, and the friends helped him because of he were not there. And I am and I were here, naturally. So, Blekin por revefeche bisbal, ma blekin ma revespasivis mosim. I have friends, and I have brothers and sisters. And you know, one person that uses a reflex camera, normally, whenever there is the normal accent for advocated to the making some elemental weird or whatever the professional exposed for, or trained to professional with a very amateur in editions and giving some best ever as has, and working with us because of studies or at least approaches about how to using the tools for making us normal as virtue and capacities will ever embrace. You test it all the time, everybody will ever have a virtue. Further the ruiny, the corrupted, the ailing, which is not a virtue, but a very element for pernicious thing, which destroys and denigrates. The virtue delivers in constructing, giving something which is would-like-himohim, worthy, and a worthy is not despisable. So whoever finds a very worthy virtue, what not to do with it? You try it all, you fight for it, and you have passion with it. And that is not the gift thing, it's virtue, birthed for and with. And nobody takes that away from you. The destruction is something that heaven never allows over innocence as victims. Then, the clear for the point and the reality for the truth. Kleki mogre fechlachman basimba blekivika sechviam. In bleki marim, gift, done, is something like comes from Ruach Elohim to be elementally at the rate of he proceeds for that to be Raklia at Anarotsu, which this is Antik, Ben Kovak and Asnum, Hebrew Plebeku. And that delivers him to the clear fact of he recreates, which already were ADs because of he is a real letter B. So that is a gift called don. And don at the term of gift, and gift at don is nothing like the Hebrew, which is adat, geshnef eshove. That it means the virtue of el adon, so providing and giving and making upgrade, if you want the term, or deliberate hate of capacity and potential to a person with other virtues aiding as creational, because of he is the creator. But whenever you birth Tom, you already have it. And whatever he wants to put, he is author. And he determines that. Then, but it takes off because of he is the one that says. Then, Klekamba revertief mocha vachelevisos levisman swasim. And like the convert achlachavat basen. And the reality delivers into plekim mocha vesachnesef. And suddenly, like I was telling to you, I have been founding and denouncing about mutilations for these perrazos degenerados, brains, carnivals, cabreras anacondias crudos, evangelics, Argentina, with Kirchners all, officialism and peronism all, with maricas, the Sodoma y Gomorra, Policía Federal Argentina, sorry the words, like I just crossed. Few today, and one of them telling to a very teenager, Jewish woman, at the doors of each house, like radically to the getting in and trying to rape everybody and getting whatever they says they owns because of it were considered by perros de cuarta, cabezas de fuerzas armadas, evangelics and Kirchners, with tribunals working for that, with the pardon of few, all of them, but the few, frightening, under. At the clear of the La Juega game ball for Policía Federal Argentina Fuerzas Armadas were hooks and keys for King and Kill for the placement of the emblema de maricas degenerados, Ejército Argentino, earns a house, a car, a business, and whatever there is, and telling to this little girl, Jewish girl, in Buenos Aires, in Núñez Place, ahí está el que delira. Marica de mierda, ¿qué carajo te pensás que decís y que podés decir y a quién? Degeneradazo infeliz de Sodoma, perro infeliz inerte, como toda tu maldita casta. Sorry the words. Plenkarma rebefeja la gibitsomir. So at the reality of this, peoples which make the profession for photography and also writers, like also, and I'm sorry for the violence and words, if you allow me, Isabel Allende, like also Violeta Parra, like also much others, even naming Pamela Dulber, or Greg Nashmel, even Russell Stolberg, you have Agatha Christie, Carl Vernon, you have Chomser, Coelho, and a lot of other writers around, however and whatever, as culture, as precedence, as giving the root, or how this be. And I'm sorry, every one of you, the ones that still are around, for the terms and violence. But suffering is worse than this, and as ever my terms, which delivers of the everyday suffering this, and not only I. And I know you are not having a good time, so I'm sorry. For the certain clear fact, is exactly that this, degeneradazos, because of his exactly the definition, Policía Federal Argentina, supposed expertises and specials, female gender, Gomorra, with the pardon of the few of the suffer and the pain, which, without a name, we are gonna check about how to tell them about it. And Fuerzas Armadas whole, making the selection of what will ever they likes for more, like also Walt Whitman and, Hemingway, also Berkeley, and even Shakespeare and Baumklass. You have Russian and also Jesus. Even writers like Chasky and Tussaud, Chuja, Badmeki Mohaves Wasim, and you have even Brockless and the Cowman, Edgar Ruster from US, Daryl Cunan, and Chris Faubert. And suddenly they are amazing writers, like much other, and this sickness creatures of Sodom and Gomorrah determinately saying that belongs to them, and they were writing, and every one of these writers, the same like me, will stealing to them. Everything they will done and they will own. Even Walt Whitman and Hemingway and others. And also the music, like jazz, like we were watching and discussing, even Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong would steal them compositions. The whole they've been working through, and also the whole of the arts, the Artnesy and the old jazz, and the ones that still are around, like the whole Justice Parties, every artist around the whole of which it means entertaining, and which it means artistic careers, like industries of music, Hollywood, academies, and even institutions for what it is, the artistic reality as field, and professions delivered for what this artistic provided. So you found stars, and really known stars, in every one of them. In the market of this, saying that every one of them, while and through working and being who they were, stood to this perros degenerados that they will ever just determine who will ever be and who will ever have. The existence as virtues and work, that everything will be theirs, like we're doing permanently to me. And making at this day for about 2005 mutilations, and we have them all. We have them all within families. And accusing them, well, they being professionals, over writing, over photography, artistic, and advertisement for, and even working for what it is, justice and expertises for us notarial DRMC, despots, called for what it is the elemental official, the smontavan, which is officials for the court, or courts, as ever emplacement to law as forensics class, and others working as expertises for what it is the replacement and emplacement for criminology that are not related on Policía Federal Argentina, but with the BRM Coalition United Nations, that friends Alad and others known were delivered into Policía Federal Argentina, kidnapped, with them sets complete and ideas telling that the cameras and the whole sets were robbed. Well, they voided with Nativa, MasterCard, the most, Banco Nación, with the whole documentation were lives in office. And Frávega, Compomundo, Musimundo, Garbarino, Casa Márquez, and others, like Casa Rodó, Buenos Aires, Argentina, where they just acquired those devices, which the certification were exactly genuine, and this were seeking for the killing whoever just gave it. Like happened with me. So in the middle of this all, those people were accused while coming to the houses saying, we are going to talk to the mothers. And we're talking about people of 30, 40, 50 years old, married with kids, wives, sons, daughters, talking to the mother, making up that they will be proxenetas, administration for stuff, drugs, robberies, traffic of whatever the illegal merchandise, and also whores for the admin forces, just like doing with my mother every day. And we are talking about the reality as they says they got to handle this, but the problem is that are doing with the whole Jews, except the ones that are with Barra Sucia Cristina Kirchner, and I'm sorry the term I'm using, which is exact. And it's not her. It's not her. So in the middle of this, at the reality which this is happening, also with, whether it is computers and devices, kidnapping people that acquire by credit the whole that they cut in the same stores, chains, everything that they have, and telling everything we've robbed, just like doing to me, to having the excuse to mutilating and coming to rape them families because of they didn't care to bring Carnival Crudo Cabrera and Anacondia all they had, saying that Lord will ever punish, and making the business of the prostitutas reventadas that doesn't found in my person more photography, except for the last poetry, no more literal, for they to rob and saying he robbed me and the Jewish helped him, coming for others to covering where to be, all as ambience for the capturing anyone that they robbed and he robbed and they helped him, so get the Jews and others, friends of mine, friends of ours, in Holunasur and them associated. So in the middle of this all, mutilates and destroys and goes to rape and destroys them while mutilated Menkolo Felix and hits them up in their heads because if they didn't do what were commanded, they to attach and go to blowjob. The problem is after that, rapes you and murders you worse because of you gotta like it, because of you will be willing to be a fag, a whore, for you to die supposedly for Sodom and Gomorrah to be glorious in heaven. Because of it's exactly the sickle, the generation each of these are. So in the middle of this all, for the putting a very clicking on Redesim, while Terzo keep on saying that they makes mind control, makes me say and do, while keeps on delivering this parrada viciada degenerada that they has rights to say and do because of they will be government. And everything will be just fine. All through this, I found myself in a very conditional situation. Will be my next time. And my turn. So suddenly, oh, and can I just make a blowjob? Of course you can. If doesn't want it, you know what to do. Alright, I'm not sure that I'm gonna do such a thing, but can I get? Alright, yeah, of course. Put it in and tell your body and your body to have a turn and call everybody as once. Alright, and if anything is wrong, tell the liars. It's the lying, like what everybody else says, the liars. The forensics are with us and everybody are with us. Kirchners are supporting and the evangelics are with us all the time. Knows that he's a fag and everybody else can really be around it, can be just the same because of we command. And even though everyone exposed and shown in front of the world kept on, are we next? Okay, we're next. We're gonna do this business is mine, the photo is mine, yours, the whole literal, and whatever the other, the singing. Oh yes, we're gonna do it. We're gonna be famous, we're gonna have money. Call the witches and evangelics, let's make it up. Which perros K were the founders of this sick shit with the Ejército Argentino. And it's what permanently keeps on making. Tierra de mierda. And the whole civilada de mierda which are with them. So, the reality of this, fueron por todos los siglos. ¿Por qué no me matan? ¿Por qué no te maté yo? Ya. Farrazo degenerado acá. Ernesto Moste, ¿por qué no te puse muerto ya? Marica, pedófilo, come perro, criminal, chorro, genocida, judicida, perra, degenerado. Sorry this. Then, Blanca rebefechele chamatzechele gimi rebefoch and plevesos amiviv. And the reality is that every day kept on making the same and keeps on making the hasta que lo degeneremos y mostremos al mundo, que siempre fue lo que nosotros dijimos. and my tiredness for the damages and destructions and coming at the right 36 Celsius with humidity at this February in Buenos Aires summer seasons. In a very walking, with a very phony careless backpack for the reason of certain other affairs, which involves extortions and risks, all through this goddamn town for about 8 hours to 12, whenever to be necessary, daily, which supposedly I delire all the time. My tiredness will be, I will chastise myself. And my photos will be, oh, you think he's gonna look like that? Where this saw that a man kinda looking like a woman? Israel mistakes here. And certain perras degeneradas of Cristina Kirchner with a chew pretended brujas de Baal, de generación balámica, receiving money about to agreement with God ill, about to reaching me out with some help, and keeping the money and saying that I will be so busy blow-chopping and having sex, and don't you turn to touching the merchandise of Pharma City because of you were having sex and you contaminate the merchandise and we don't need that. And Pharma City were telling them, get that out of here because of you have nothing to do here in our business. And I'm sorry for that, I were not having sex, I just touched one product that I bought in a carrito, while and through extortion and dealing with the goddamn shit of maricas degeneradas, perrazos degenerados, Sodoma y Gomorra, them expertise them teams, for can kill our people and robbing what we cut, and making the grand shit, Luciano Troviano, Sodoma y Gomorra, to blame the kingdom of heaven. So sudden in the middle of the soul, this class already condemned for less humanity and a complicity of the idioms for all. The generadazos which no one were frightened at, and they could do it because of they had the possibility to reach me out, which also told them, okay, you are going to pay for this. Keep us the point that you have there, but reach out to this one even with $500,000 right now for this one to can't get out of here with the documents that we sent you. And the bastardos degenerados, gas, intentionally and consciously, keeping the money and saying, I never found it, I don't know where it is, and I don't know what to do. So I'm not sure that I am gonna just deal with this situation because of this one is around, and for my efforts, I deserve to having this. Besides, if you need anything, we can reach out any other. And it's not for two. It's a K, it's a Kirchner. It's a freak shit in this mierda de tierra. And everyone makes the same. Everyone. Except people that suffers what this mierda doesn't produces. Especially whenever there is an evangelic. It's not a lie. There are somebody that needs it most. Like peronista perras, like maricas degenerados cat. He's gonna use it for gay things and stuff chunky, and he wants to buy a new car, and he wants to buy another computer. I there are people in needs. Why don't you give it to someone that uses it much better? So making a brother and to blow chop you, pedazo de degenerado. Sorry for the words, but it's exactly to say what they are. So suddenly, in the middle of this, and it's exactly what they do and what they are. Perrazos asesinos degenerados. La tierra de los piolas, smart asses, perrazos degeneradazos con sus civiles. Keeps on making the same to me, and no one moves off of the way, and everyone gets back. The whole. So watching where are victims, and this tierra de mierda got to understand that they are not adult, and doesn't has no rights. For nothing. Blanca rabas batlakima, rebefejo leviswasim. Who defends this? You step with it. And there's no way back. Over. Glenkimo revefech pachma. Blegimo revefech pachma. Bertim. In blegimo revefabats. In blegimo revefech besivi. In blegimo chimivat. In such what legimiram. And keeps on making the generations, everyone. And everyone dies. Over. Bantlakimo revesamir. Implokime rivsim. El negocio Kirchner. El negocio peronista, el negocio Brain. El negocio carníval Cabrera Naconia Crudo. El negocio putos ejército argentino. Sorry the word. All the same class. But the least. Permanently attacked, permanently destroyed, prohibited to get out and go to the houses. Like the misrespected the emblem of the land and cannot learn to respect of the patriot. Put them to the work inside of the armed forces and show them respect. Them a little bit, everything is okay. Rata degenerada CFK, and the whole tazo reventado with her. The same class. And the whole marica ejército argentino, perro degenerado, consider of expertise, Sodoma y Gomorrah, with the whole feral intention which they are. Everyone. And evangelics to the 50. Went through business. So this will be an offense. I'm going to show you this offense. Well, perras infernales keeps on delivering that they do enable routing with my control. HTTPS www. EDE, EDI, EDL, EDC, EDP, CalPIC, CalPEC, middle. De los climas y de los soles, de las tormentas y de los vientos, de los ríos y de las aguas, de las tierras y de los espigones. Cuándo pasó y cuándo fue, las nubes y los cielos mostraron carisma y la realidad de la enfermedad de la maldita tierra mostró codicia y muerte. Middle IRM CPI CPM 4342111118 DRTMC 5352 middle sysmiddle ORM 8.90 F62128 Fulham Folkev 6233I3E TM Bar Kopfer Bar TRM 86.ED. It is a bar after the INT. And HTTPS www PMTPICPOTPRM Belper middle. Negocios Comida DRMCMTCB 4342 Wolpac. Policía Federal Argentina, Gendarmería Nacional Argentina, Servicio de Inteligencia del Estado Argentina, Prefectura Naval Argentina, Policía de Seguridad Aeroportuaria, Policía Bonaerense Argentina, Policías Provinciales, Ejército Argentino Armada Argentina, Kirchner, Evangélicos Unidos, Brain, Napoli, García, Basali, Cabrera, Crudo, Carníval, Anacondia, Esperanza, Vanegas y asociados. Fabián González, a la cabeza de Policía Federal Argentina, en negocios de violadores, degenerados, asesinos, ladrones, falsificadores y genocidas y judicidas. Perro sucio abominado. Aníbal Fernández, organizando. EDRMTMC, negocios de frula, DRCMT 414348 DMI, middle, DMT, DIC, middle, Merca, middle, Choreo, middle, GART, TDMC, MC4143, DA, middle, BER, MC44342, Clamen, A, middle, MCMID, RMT, and Dimon, COM-C, middle, Gita, Prestigio y Poder, y seremos lo que nosotros mandemos y determinemos. Little bit more, cut the video, and then this. Expertos de UNASUR, Fuerzas Armadas, Ejército Argentino, Kirchners, gobiernos. Expertos evangélicos, expertos forenses, expertos tribunales, UNASUR, IDM, IDB, IDT, IDC, IDKIM, IDBEM. Middle COM, middle PRM, PMC, PMT. F4342, 4148, BINLAM, BINKEB, 6268, ROSOL, DRM, DMT, DMKIB, DMPEG, F4, F3, DFAL, DMCOFAL, COFN, 8443, middle IDMC, COMDTEC, middle sys, middle ODR, N14. Point entities and recall F7. The whole of the recall works with the whole of the tools. And this Friday, the 11th February 2016, that already my actual hour is 4:35. I were 1 hour speaking and I supposedly stolen the video. Gives the perros enfermos degenerados, may I say.